Before we get into today's topic, if you are new here, welcome. This channel is updated every single day with the latest news, changes, and tips for Canadian pensioners. We have covered everything in simple language, no jargon, just the information you actually need. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update that could affect your pension or your pocket. Now, let's get into today's video. Here is something that surprises a lot of Canadians. You can collect your CPP retirement pension and still go to work at the same time. And not only is that allowed, but in many cases, continuing to work while collecting your pension can actually increase your monthly income for the rest of your life. But, and this is a big but, there is a hidden trap that catches thousands of Canadians every year, especially self-employed people and couples. And if you fall into it, you could end up paying money into a system that gives you almost nothing back. I am going to explain exactly what that trap is before this video is done. So please stay with me, because the difference between knowing this and not knowing it could be worth thousands of dollars. Welcome. My name is Martina, and today we are talking about one of the most misunderstood parts of the Canada Pension Plan. What happens when you are still working and already collecting your CPP at the same time? This is called the Post-Retirement Benefit, and in 2026, the rules around it have become more important than ever. Whether you are 62 and thinking about starting your pension early, or 67 and still working part-time, or helping a spouse plan their retirement, this video has something important for you. We are going to cover when contributions are mandatory, when they are optional, when to stop, and a very specific situation where continuing to contribute could actually cost you more than you get back. And later in this video, I am going to share something that most couples never think about, something that affects what your spouse receives after you are gone. It involves the CPP rules around survivor benefits, and it is one of those things that feels fine until it is too late to fix. Keep watching. Let us start with the big picture, because this is where a lot of people get confused right from the beginning. Most Canadians think of retirement as a clear finish line. You stop working, you start collecting your pension, and that is that. But for many people today, retirement is not a single moment. It is a gradual shift. Maybe you go from full-time to part-time. Maybe you do some consulting. Maybe you run a small business. And in all of those situations, the question becomes, if I am already receiving my CPP, do I still have to contribute? And what happens if I do? The answer depends entirely on your age. And this is the most important thing to understand. If you are between 60 and 65 and you are collecting your CPP while still earning employment income, you have no choice. Your contributions are mandatory. Your employer takes them off your paycheck automatically, just as they always have. There is no way to opt out in this age range. But here's the good news. Those contributions are not wasted. Every year you contribute, you earn what is called a post-retirement benefit. Think of it as a small bonus pension that gets added to your monthly check the following year. And once it starts, it pays you every month for the rest of your life, and it goes up with inflation. So between 60 and 65, you are building extra income whether you chose to or not. For many people, that is actually a good thing. Now, once you turn 65, something changes. Your contributions become optional. You now have the power to decide, do I keep contributing to earn more post-retirement benefits, or do I stop contributing and keep more of my paycheck each month? This choice stays open until you turn 70. At 70, contributions stop completely and automatically. No more paying in, no matter what you earn. Does this age range apply to you right now? Are you between 65 and 70 and still working? If so, this decision, whether to keep contributing or stop, is one of the most important financial choices you can make right now. And I am going to help you figure it out. Here's where it gets really practical. Let us talk about what the post-retirement benefit is actually worth. Each year that you contribute at the maximum level, you earn roughly $55 per month added to your pension permanently. That might not sound like a lot on its own, but think about it this way. If you contribute for 5 years between ages 65 and 70, and you earn that benefit each year, you could be adding over $250 a month to your income for life. And that amount grows with inflation every single year. Now the question is it worth it to keep paying in to get that extra income? For most regular employees, the answer is almost always yes, and here's why. When you are an employee, your employer matches your contributions dollar for dollar. So if you pay $5, your employer also pays $5 into the system on your behalf. You are essentially getting the post-retirement benefit at half the cost. When you calculate how long it takes to get your money back through the monthly benefit, it usually works out to about 6.5 years. Since the average 65-year-old in Canada lives well into their 80s, most employees come out significantly ahead. Let me put a face to this. Picture a man named Frank. He is 66, still working part-time as a bookkeeper, and already receiving his CPP of around $900 a month. His employer is paying half of his CPP contributions. Frank keeps contributing for 4 more years. By age 70, those extra contributions have added about $200 a month to his pension. Frank lives to 84. Over those 14 years of receiving that extra $200, he collected well over $30,000 more than he ever paid in. For Frank, staying in was absolutely the right call. But now let us talk about a very different situation, and this is the hidden trap I mentioned at the beginning. If you are self-employed, meaning you run your own business, do freelance work, or operate as an incorporated professional, the math is completely different. And this is where so many Canadians get hurt. When you are self-employed, you do not have an employer to split the cost with. You pay both sides of the contribution yourself. That means you are paying double what a regular employee pays. But here is the cruel part. The post-retirement benefit you earn is exactly the same as an employee's. Same monthly amount, same rules. You just paid twice as much to get it. When you run the numbers for a self-employed person who opts in at age 65, it takes about 13 years just to break even, meaning to get back what you put in. That means a self-employed person would need to live to age 79 just to start coming out ahead. And that is before accounting for what else they could have done with that money, paid down debt, added it to a TFSA, or kept it for business cash flow. So for many self-employed Canadians between 65 and 70, the smarter move is often to stop contributing, to opt out. Keep more money in your pocket now, invest it yourself, and avoid a 13-year wait to break, even on a benefit your spouse may not even fully receive when you are gone. Which brings me to something I have been holding on to since the beginning of this video: the hidden trap for couples. Here is something that most people do not find out until it is too late. When you pass away, your spouse may be entitled to a survivor's pension from your CPP. But if your spouse is already receiving their own CPP retirement pension, the two amounts get combined. And there is a hard maximum limit on what they can receive each month. In 2026, that maximum combined amount is just over $1,500. So here is the problem. If your spouse is already receiving close to the maximum CPP on their own, and then you pass away having made years of extra post-retirement benefit contributions, your spouse may receive almost nothing from those contributions. The cap kicks in, and the extra income you built up simply disappears. It does not go to your children. It does not go to your estate. It is gone. Imagine a couple, let us call them Helen and George. Both worked full-time careers. Both receive near maximum CPP pensions. George keeps working past 65 and keeps contributing, building up extra post-retirement benefits because he wants to leave Helen in a better financial position. But when George passes away, Helen is already so close to the cap that she only receives a fraction of his survivor's pension. All those extra years of contributions, all that money George paid in, produced almost no benefit for her. This is not a flaw most people know about, and it is exactly the kind of thing that should factor into your decision about whether to keep contributing between 65 and 70. If both you and your spouse already have strong CPP incomes, it may actually make more sense to stop contributing at 65, take home more money each month, and direct those savings into a TFSA or other private investment, one that can actually be passed on to your family. Your financial advisor can help you model this out specifically for your situation. Now let us talk about something that every working senior needs to understand: how your CPP and work income can affect your other government benefits, here is something a lot of people do not realize. If you are collecting your CPP and still working, and your total income from all sources goes above a certain level, the government starts clawing back part of your old age security pension. In 2026, that threshold is just under $94,000 of net income. For every dollar above that, you lose 15 cents of OAS. For most seniors, this is not a concern because their income is well below that level. But if you have a good pension, investment income, and a working salary on top of it, the numbers can add up. And it is worth knowing about before you are surprised at tax time. For lower income seniors, there is a different and more immediate concern. If you receive the Guaranteed Income Supplement, the GIS, you need to understand that this benefit gets reduced as your other income goes up. And unfortunately, CPP and post-retirement benefit income are both counted against you when they calculate your GIS. The employment income exemption does not apply to CPP, so a low-income senior who earns an extra $50 a month from a post-retirement benefit might find that their GIS drops by $25 to $35 at the same time. The net gain is much smaller than it appears on paper. This does not mean working is not worthwhile. It just means the full picture matters. An extra dollar of CPP is not always an extra dollar in your pocket, and understanding how all these pieces interact helps you plan wisely. Let us spend a moment on the question of when to start your CPP in the first place, because this connects directly to everything we have been talking about. You can start your CPP as early as age 60. But for every month you start it before age 65, your payment is permanently reduced by just over 0.5%. Start at 60 and you receive 36% less every single month for the rest of your life. That is a big cut. On the other hand, if you wait past 65 to start, every month you wait, your payment goes up by just under 0.75%. Wait until 70, and you receive 42% more than the age 65 baseline, permanently, for life. So which is better, start early and collect more years of payments, or wait and collect higher payments? The honest answer is that it depends on your health and your financial situation. If you are healthy and do not urgently need the money, waiting usually wins in the long run. Most people who wait until 70 come out ahead by their early 80s compared to those who started at 65, and every year after that, the gap grows. But if you have health concerns, or if you genuinely need the income to cover your bills, starting earlier makes sense. There is no single right answer. What matters is that you understand the trade-offs and make a conscious choice, not just take the pension early because you did not know waiting was an option. Before we wrap up, let me quickly mention 2 things that are worth knowing in case they apply to your situation. First, if you are under 65, receiving your CPP early, and your health unexpectedly prevents you from working, there is something called the Post-Retirement Disability Benefit. It provides an additional flat monthly payment of just over $600 if you are forced to stop working due to a serious medical condition. It is a safety net that most people in phased retirement do not know about, but it could matter a great deal if your health changes. Second, if you are a senior who applied for your CPP late, say at age 66 instead of 65, you can request up to 12 months of retroactive payments. That means a lump sum catch-up for the months you missed. This does not apply if you started before 65, but for anyone who delayed past their 65th birthday without realizing they could have been collecting, it is absolutely worth asking Service Canada about. And if you need to stop or restart your optional contributions between ages 65 and 70, that is done through a specific government form called the CPT 30 if you are an employee, or through Schedule 8 on your tax return if you are self-employed. You can only make one change per calendar year, so if you stop contributions in the spring, you cannot restart them again until January of the following year. Let us bring everything together. The Canada Pension Plan today is far more flexible than most people realize. If you are working and collecting CPP between 60 and 65, your contributions are automatic and they are building you a small but permanent extra income through the post-retirement benefit. From 65 to 70, you have a choice. And that choice is worth thinking through carefully because it is not the same answer for everyone. If you are a regular employee in good health, continuing to contribute almost always makes financial sense. Your employer covers half the cost, and most people get their money back within 7 years. If you are self-employed, the math is much harder to justify. You pay double, and the break-even point stretches to 13 years. Directing that money elsewhere may serve you better. And if you and your spouse both have strong CPP pensions, be aware of the survivor benefit cap. Extra contributions may produce almost no additional benefit for your spouse after you are gone, and that changes the calculation entirely. The most important takeaway from today is this: your CPP is not a set it and forget it system. There are real decisions to be made, and the right decision depends on your age, your health, your employment situation, and your family. Understanding how these pieces fit together gives you the power to make choices that protect your income and your peace of mind. If this video helped you see something about your CPP situation a little more clearly, please share it with someone you know who is still working while collecting or thinking about starting their pension soon. This is exactly the kind of information that most people never hear until it is too late to act on it. And if you are not subscribed yet, please do. We post new videos every single day covering Canadian pension updates, benefit changes, and practical financial tips for seniors, all in plain, simple language. No jargon, no confusion, just the facts you need. Tap subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video that could affect your retirement income. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and those you love, and I will see you tomorrow. Script end, approx. 2,100 words, 17 and 19 min at natural avatar pace.